Labour MP Jakob Williamson refuses to be shut down by his Labour mayor, and Rachel Thieves is in the fiscal doo-doo. Welcome to Grey Matters. Welcome to Grey Matters Extra, which looks at some of the wider social and political issues that have been in the news recently. Now, Councillor Jakob Williamson, a Labour councillor with a Labour council, recently refused to vote for an increase in the council tax in his area, and he told it like it is. Now, the mayor tried to shut him down, but he put him back in his box and continued. Take a look at this clip from the Welsh Patriots channel.
The Mayor, I'm not supporting this budget today. Our party promised change and an end to austerity and an end to council tax rises, and that's what we all campaigned on during the general election, and all of that's been reneged on today. £29 million of savings is austerity, and yet again we're raising council tax by the maximum. We're expecting our residents to pay more every year for less, and this budget is nothing more than a litany of broken promises by this government. And some people may say they've only been in a year, but I have no faith things will get better with the choices already being made. They're attacking welfare. The government's refused to lift the two-child benefit cap, betrayed WASPy women, raised the bus cap and took the winter fuel allowance off vulnerable pensioners, and now they're going after those on disability benefits. And it's not change. I don't care what anybody says, it's a continuation of Tory austerity, and it's a disgrace. And we know what the consequences of austerity are. Various studies, including one by the LSE, showed that it led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, working class people and the most vulnerable in our society, the very people our party is supposed to fight for.
Councillor Williamson, can I just interrupt you for one moment, please? You need to make reference to the budget that's been put forward to you, which is the budget
Mr.
of Wakefield's cabinet to this council.
It's an austerity budget, and I was just talking about the consequences of austerity, Mr. Mayor.
Just one moment, please. The consequences of austerity is for another place. You need to talk about the budget that's been put forward here. If you continue to do that, that's fine. If you're going to talk about national issues and issues that we've no control over, and previous government, we will not be moving forward. In a moment, Councillor Sharp.
But those national issues influence what we're here to do today, Mr. Mayor. Right, and austerity, this is an austerity budget, and austerity damages working class communities, whether it's done nationally or locally. And I'm not coming in here after my working class residents are struggling through benefit cuts from national government, and then coming in here and voting for more austerity at a local level and voting for another hike in council tax, pushing my residents further into financial hardship. I just won't do it.
That's fantastic, isn't it? We need more councillors like that. If only some of the MPs were like that too. I've lost count of the comments we've had from people saying that they simply can't afford another hike in council tax. And there are also lots of comments from others simply saying, don't pay it. Unfortunately, that's not an option. It's what's termed as a lawful debt, and if you don't pay it, you could end up in clink. And it's all very well to say, as many have, well, what are they going to do? If everyone refuses to pay, they're going to lock us all up. Well, that might be true, but that's never going to happen, is it? No matter how well organised such a protest might be, there will probably be more people worried about the consequences of those actions than there are people who don't care. I mean, we've all got choices to some degree about other price hikes, and we can use less energy, we can use our car less, we can eat less, we can dump the TV licence. But the council tax is another matter. We need, like I said, more people like Councillor Williamson to stand up and refuse to vote for these tax hikes, especially with MPs. But sadly, whilst the opposition will vote against these types of measures, when it comes to the government in power, most MPs will be worried about losing their privileged position and expenses, more so than by doing right by the constituents who voted them in. Next, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has slashed the UK's growth expectations from 1.6 to 1.1% for this year. That's shocking. I mean, they say that Britain will be growing slower than predicted, and of course, Rachel Reeves has tried to shift the blame onto international factors, including Trump and his tariffs. However, the chief economist of the IMF says that this decline in growth is not due to those factors, but rather to domestic factors. And I'm sure we all understand that to be code for it's all Rachel's fault. Now, borrowing is up, inflation is up, and having ridden to power on a promise that taxes wouldn't go up, guess what? Well, taxes up. The increase in employers' NI has raised billions for the Treasury, whilst suppressing employment opportunities and putting many smaller businesses, the lifeblood of this country, out of business. Well, to add to Rachel Reeves' litany of failures, the Office of National Statistics revealed this week that she has exceeded her planned borrowing of £50 billion by a further £15 billion. That's great, isn't it? The growth has slowed, borrowing has increased, and how's she going to recoup this? Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that the elderly will be at the forefront of any plans she has to claw back the cash, certainly based on her track record to date. And the Chancellor actually hasn't had a particularly good time over the last couple of weeks. She was in front of the Treasury Select Committee on the 2nd of April, and before it got properly underway, she was confronted about comments that she and Treasury Secretary Darren Jones had made likening welfare benefits to a child's pocket money. So when Dame Meg Hiller, the chairwoman of the Select Committee, asked if she would like to apologise, guess what she did? I'm sure you know the answer. Let's take a look at this clip from the Politics Joe channel.
I wanted to start, if I may, Chancellor, with the comments that were made by the Chief Secretary and repeated by you last week about comparing welfare recipients and children's pocket money. And I wonder if, on reflection, you think that was a wise comparison to make.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here at your Select Committee today, Chair, and to members of the committee. The Chief Secretary to the Treasury has apologised for the clumsy language that he used. It wasn't the right language. I was asked a specific question. I did not, first of all, hear the previous interview of the Chief Secretary, and so the question to me was put about pocket money, but it's not a right analogy, and apologies have already been made.
Okay, so you're making an apology too for the comments that you made on the other...
I don't think I made the same comments, but the analogy of comparing pocket money and personal independence payments is clearly not right.
There she is, pushing the blame totally onto Darren Jones. Now, this is what he said. Take, for example, if I said to my kids, I'm going to cut your pocket money by £10 a week, but you have to go out and get a Saturday job. The impact assessment on that basis would say that my kids were down £10, irrespective of how much money they got from their Saturday job. So what he appears to be suggesting is that if your benefits are cut, go out and get a job. Not so easy when they may be related to disability and illness. And a day later, when Reeves was being interviewed by LBC, she was asked whether Jones' comments were crass. Let's first remind ourselves what she said to that Select Committee. Again, let's just take a look at this bit.
And apologies have already been made.
Okay, so you're making an apology too for the comments that you made on the other...
I don't think I made the same comments, but...
But if you have a 16-year-old and you say, do you know what, I'm not going to give you so much pocket money, I want you to go out to work, and then the OBR comes and does an impact assessment and says, your child is going to be worse off. Well, they're going to be worse off if they don't go and get themselves a Saturday job.
A short memory there, Chancellor. What an utter slap in the face to all those genuinely in need of welfare benefits. This woman's unsuitability to be in government gets more obvious with each passing day. Again, Grey Matters is not a right-leaning channel, as we've occasionally been criticised of being. We'd be just as critical of any government in power that behaved like this one. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you like our content, please subscribe and join our community of nearly 40,000 subscribers, and do give a thumbs up to the video and hit that like button to be notified of our future content. In the meantime, thank you for joining us, and until the next edition of Grey Matters, it's bye for now.